Hey everybody, Adam Savage and Norm Chin in the cave.
Adam, it's time for another 1/6 scale vehicle unboxing.
I did not know how much joy 1/6 scale automobiles could bring to my life. And this is another in a continuing series. This is the 89 Batmobile, man.
It's the second Batmobile we will now have in our collection. This, of course, comes from Jazzinc Dioramas.
Right.
They're the collectibles company out of the Netherlands. Joost, who's their CEO and founder, sent this version to us, and this is a 2-year project in the making.
Dude, so we haven't even cracked the car yet, and I'm overwhelmed by
show them
how
the box.
beautiful this package is. The bill of materials on just this piece of cardboard, the printing press required to do spot varnish and whatever this is, 4/6 color plus metallics, is blowing my mind in terms of what we're about to see.
And it's a couple of things I really want to call out. It's
Yep.
really been interesting following the journey of Jazzinc Dioramas. You know, they started as making these one-off dioramas for people who already had 6-scale figures made by other companies.
Right.
Now they're diving into their own figures.
This
You'll
is a
see,
huge leap for them.
Oh, I mean, it's a mom and pop company. It's like literally their family.
Yeah.
His dad, his wife, his children are working on this, working with factories. There's a list of collaborators in the back. So
of people who
yes,
lent really amazing expertise or aesthetic help or
Yeah.
construction or manufacturing.
And let's get started opening this, and I'll talk
All right.
through, like, there's always that assumption, I've mentioned this before, that when someone gets an official license, like, this is officially licensed
Yeah.
from Warner Brothers, there's the assumption that, like, they have all the information, right? Like, a collectibles company who's gonna put out, and people put out 1989 Batmobiles for 35 years now. Not everyone's gonna be perfect.
And the amount of information out there is hard to get. We were just at a special effects company where it turned out Hot Toys visited them sometimes to find out key tiny details about costumes. And even still, stuff could be wrong.
Because it's up to that company, right? The licensor, Warner Brothers in this case, will sign off on it and provide, archive assets.
Right.
But it's up to their 3D modelers, their artists, to get it to the fidelity that they want.
Well, and let's be really clear. There are a lot of times in which the studio's knowledge of what a prop is vastly outstripped by what the fervid fan base's knowledge of what that prop is.
Yeah, and they, there's more than one Batmobile. They made 2 hero ones for 1989 and 92 for returns. They made 3 additional ones that they toured around for promotional purposes. One of those is in the Peterson Automobile Museum. I saw one at Comic-Con a couple years ago. And so there are going to be subtle differences. You mentioned Hot Toys. It's really funny. Hot Toys has, of course, their Batman figure.
Right.
They had one they released years ago called the DX09, their 9th deluxe one. They re-release it this year. But they also did a 1989 Batmobile that they also re-released. They did. And so it's one of the rare cases, and I don't have that one, but it's one of the rare cases where a collector has a choice, right? They had a choice between buying the Hot Toys design one or what Jazzinc put together, and there was massive differences.
Massive differences.
Like 4 inches in size.
Whoa!
Like, fin designs are completely different. And also manufacturing differences, where they choose to put the mold lines.
You're going to have to make some
paint
compromises for manufacturing, absolutely. But also they might have been working off reference material of 2 completely different vehicles.
Oh, yeah. Also, notice the packaging
we've
over
seen
the
this
year.
a lot.
This is improved. This is new for them.
This is great.
This is so nice the way they've done the Velcro straps, shipping this overseas. Like, that's gonna go, like, that could be tossed around on the back of a FedEx or UPS truck.
I also really appreciate that it doesn't have all those extra corners and the extra bag and the number of things we've opened that was 3 boxes nested inside of each other.
That's right. I'm gonna take off some of this accessory stuff first.
Are these actual metallic bat symbols?
There's die-cast parts here.
Whoa.
Yep, for sure. So here's some clamshells for parts. Oh my goodness. The scale, this is gonna blow my mind.
Excited Norm is one of my favorite Norms.
I've been on the website. I know it's 110 centimeters. I know it's 44 inches roughly in length, 17 inches tall, but I seeing in person is really different. Right. Okay.
Okay. So they've been in very granular touch with the fans over this entire project.
And Warner Brothers did a LiDAR scan of one of the hero Batmobiles.
Whoa.
So when you're recreating a prop, right?
Yep.
You're using reference photos.
Yep.
The photos have a focal length.
Yeah.
The camera, there's going to be compression in the lens. whether you're using a 35mm camera or a 80mm camera, is going to change what that geometry looks like.
And parallaxing can mean things can shift by a measurement of like 10, 15, 20% of their size with just a little bit of the depth of field change.
So 2 years ago when they embarked on this, they had a rough 3D model. Right. They tweaked it and tweaked it and tweaked it. And then they got a LiDAR scan.
So they got to actually, after all their tweaking, they got to see how close they got.
And redo it.
Yeah, right, of course.
And redo it.
Of course.
To match it. Are we ready for this?
Yep. All right.
My goodness.
Just gonna.
Oh.
Okay, so where's that blade?
Right here. Let's be very careful. Let's get some facts. Some facts about the Batmobile, right? 1989 Batman, of course. Tim Burton's Batman.
Is this designed by Anton Furst?
Anton Furst was the production designer.
Right.
Julian Caldo was the concept illustrator who designed this along with the Batwing. So we share all those similar aesthetics. They didn't have CAD back then, so have you seen the behind-the-scenes pictures? This was a full-scale polystyrene sculpt.
No way, I did not realize.
A white polystyrene sculpt that they did to get the compound curves, which is one of the reasons why this is so hard to replicate.
Oh, wait.
I believe we'll have to...
I believe it is mounted on the underside.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Right.
So we need nippers.
Yes.
Let me grab some.
Let's drop some knowledge while Adam's getting some nippers. They used 2 Chevy Impalas, I believe, to turn this into a drivable vehicle. Famously low clearance, about 6 inches off the ground. The front turbine design, the back turbine, I think was a repurposed like Harrier jet part is what they use.
Really?
Lots of found parts they use that we talked about. We'll call those out in terms of the headlights and the tail lights.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, I have to get farther in.
The opening canopy, of course, inspired by jet designs. And that was because when they sculpted that polystyrene sculpt, they didn't think about where the door was going to be. They were just like, this canopy looks cool, but how is Batman going to get in? Don't know.
Dude, it's also, I can't tell you how exciting it was in 1989 when you got to see this thing go around the windows. So exciting.
The paint finish also famously like not exactly black. It's like a satin black. So not super glossy, but there's also a multi-color finish. There's a little bit of green, a little bit of purple.
There's specular highlighting in there?
In the real one. I think they got a little bit of that green here, which I'm really curious to see.
Come on, come on. This is held to the bottom with some fairly lovely chunky zip ties.
Which is part of that, keeping it sturdy while it is shipped over around the world.
So then these come out.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna pull that, and that.
All right.
We should be free.
So we're gonna lift.
Here we go. I'm gonna lift this while you pull the.
Great.
You go ahead and pull the plastic bag.
I'll move this off.
Oh, right, yes,
first.
right.
There it goes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, there's a panel that goes here.
It's in the back. It's in here.
Oh, great.
But let's.
There you go.
First.
Dude.
Wow.
This is, I think the other thing to remember is like, this is one of the first, like this is a real pioneer in terms of the translation from comic books into reality on a much more big Hollywood budget kind of level, you know?
Well, this design has really set the stage for so many of the Batmobiles going forward, right? Not only the 90s era ones, because they all have the fins.
Yep.
You know, in the comics, the original Batmobile, there was a big bat logo, like almost like a battering ram.
Yeah.
So replacing that with this nose cone and turbine was a massive choice, I think, that has continued on over the years. My favorite attribute are these intakes right here.
Yeah.
They feel like the organic aspect to these intakes, right? How big they are, this detailing right here. It's like, in my mind, it's almost like an aorta. It's like, it's
right.
like a valve.
Like the octopus's breathing
exactly,
valve.
very much,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
This is the hardest thing, personally, I think, for them to get right. This compound curve.
the compound curve of this line from the
this
fin
line
around the fender.
to the kind of mandibles here.
So I'm curious when they were able to finally see their LiDAR scan, which again it's not like sub-millimeter accuracy you get from a LiDAR scan. It's more the big shape. How far off they were on that
I think
compound.
they were super close.
Oh, wow.
The ones that get it wrong, I think, have this part too flat because this does go down and bow up a little bit.
Wow.
A lot of times the mandibles are too close. This needs to really open up. This space is real small right here. Famously, the nose cone is dipped down a little bit.
What?
And some of the other ones at Tord, it's stubbier and straight on, but the one in the movie is silver and dips down. Like down to, I'm gonna look at the cockpit, but down to like how many of these little holes here? That's 27 on each side.
No way you know this.
Oh yeah. That's gas tank cap. Oh, Dyke, you feel that?
Yeah, no,
Gas?
I know. This was open when we first pulled it
I
out.
think from a London bus is where the production design team took that part from. That's a found part that they've recreated. The headlamps, so the classic, like these orange or yellow, yellow headlamps are upside down Honda, 80s era Honda lights flipped around. Yeah.
Amazing.
The circular red tail lights are taken from a Ferrari. And then these wheels. So these are, they made their own tooling for the
tires?
For the tires.
What?
And they got, what does it say? I think the manufacturer of the tire is actually printed on there on the front and the back.
Thompson 60s? Mickey Thompson 60s.
It's the Mickey Thompson. Yeah, the Mickey Thompson. Yeah.
Tubeless. Is he a Batman? Sorry for my ignorance, but is he a
it's
Batman
real,
character?
It's a real
it's
tire company.
Oh, okay.
Real tire company. Look at that. So it does turn.
Yeah, we have a rack and.
That's great.
Shall we?
Should we look at the canopy?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
This just lifts right off.
Yep. So I think this can slide.
Oh, what? It slides forward.
Oh my gosh. Look at this.
Oh, Norm.
So these are leather seats with a silicone coating so they won't peel. Famously at this scale, real leather parts will peel over time.
Really? So this is real leather?
Real leather that's sealed. It doesn't doesn't feel like the leather, but it is leather. And then I want to see this.
Yeah,
cockpit.
take a look.
Wow.
And
Oh yeah.
Wow, the crackle finish on the dashboard is really lovely.
Well, every time when you see photos of the cockpit, one, you can tell it's inspired by a jet cockpit, right?
Sure.
But two, you can also see that was made for filming, right? All the bolts and the exposed aluminum is all there. And I think the steering wheel has that.
Oh wait, the steering wheel is probably over here.
Yeah, it's probably one of the, yeah.
So there's some assembly required. Are there batteries that we need to install? I'm sure there are.
I think it's all plugged into the wall.
Really?
We'll get a stinger and plug them in.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So we can take the whole thing. Does the whole thing come off, or it just slides forward?
It looks right.
I think it just slides forward, right?
It does, but see this little extra? I think that there is the ability.
I want to be careful with that. Let's just slide it forward for now.
Here's what's happening. Take a look. See that little thing? That needs to slide back for this to be able to lift out of there. But
so let's keep it there.
Yeah.
Here's the back plate. I believe that just magnetically attaches.
That is a beautiful piece of plastic, man. Yep. And there she goes. Lovely.
There go your Ferrari circular lights.
That's nice. Here's the plug for the wall.
Look at that.
That's crazy. Look at that Bat logo.
Oh, and I got a power supply right here.
All right, I'm gonna toss the steering wheel in here. Where do you go? There you go. All right, so there's no registration. So the steering wheel does not actually turn the wheels.
I don't think it can.
No.
Mechanically. Here's power.
Okay.
You can tell it's a real unboxing because we're taking our time
with
getting the tape off of this clamshell packaging.
Do you have a stinger for me over there?
I believe right underneath there.
Hey, look at that.
I think these were accessories from Batman Returns, where Batman's fighting the Penguin's Red Circus Gang, and then he flips out these shin breakers and just cuts off the stilts of a clown. Not something I display this with. This might also have been from Batman Returns. It's the rotating pedestal. The Batmobile goes on a lift and it can do a 180 turn.
Oh, right.
Yeah. All right, so there's a remote. We might need the remote to power it on.
Well, it's already lit.
Oh, is it lit?
Yeah, look, his little screen is already lit.
Oh, okay.
Dashboard's up, and we've got some fire coming out of the turbine down here.
So like the 2022 Batmobile they released, there is an exhaust function. So it will smoke out.
Oh, like Buzz Lightyear.
Yes. So if we put some of the
smoke juice. That's what the syringe was for.
Yes.
Got it.
Why don't we pop this open and get that remote out? I'm just admiring the paint finish on this thing. One of the things I love about Jazzinc Dioramas as a company is, like, they have a Facebook group and they have a website, but they're in constant communication on forums, on social media, on Facebook, with their customers, with interested 1/6 scale collectors about the development process and the manufacturing process. So when I look at the finish and I'm like, oh wow, this is a really beautiful satin black, and I can kind of see the way it's not perfectly black with a little bit of that off color green, like metallic green almost in there. Like, I'm also thinking back of some of the behind the scenes videos that Yost has shared from actually the factory floor, where the people assembling this are taking these out of the molds and actually going through multiple sanding passes. I mean, it's a level of transparency that you don't see really from any toy company, because so often what happens in the factory they want to keep secret. Oh.
Sorry, I just pushed button number 10.
I don't know if we can play that music. Button 1 to turn on the front lights. All right, it's illuminated.
All right.
Button 2 for rear lights.
Okay, here's rear lights. Yeah,
Button 3 for interior lights.
Got it. Interior lights are on, off and on, off and on. Okay.
Button 4 for exhaust lights, and these are the exhaust pieces that need to go in place.
Oh, right. Yeah, here you go. You'll see there's a couple of, right, there's a hole pattern.
There it goes.
They certainly couldn't have made that any easier. So that's number 4.
And then
5.
Button 5, go for it.
No way! That actually spins?
They made a mechanized turbine.
That's sweet. Okay, button number 6.
They didn't need to do that. And then the 6 is the smoke. So
okay.
If we fill that in, it will smoke. We'll, of course, set this up to do our beauty shots.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We'll get all those beauty shots.
So many different other accessories. These pieces here, I believe, magnetically, or, oh no, it's 3M attached to the inside. So these are the hubcaps.
Oh, wow. So okay.
Yep.
Beautiful. Wow.
So these are nice little die-cast pieces.
Gorgeous.
Another thing they're really proud about is the hubcaps are copper color, which not a lot of companies get right either.
Oh, fascinating. Because it's almost like a copper gunmetal, right? It's not it's a really specific color. Yeah. All right.
There's laser cut, mesh everywhere. That's nice. These patterns are really nice, like behind the intakes here. There are coverings, I believe, to cover the Thompson machine guns.
Oh, right. That's what these are.
Yes.
Here you go.
Let me open that. Indicated by left and right.
And how do those come out?
I think these are just magnetically attached.
I mean, but how do the Thompson guns?
They do. They just there's a little bit of friction there, and then they do pop out. And in the movie, they just sit like that.
Oh wow!
A little bit like that.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
It's when he goes to the Axis Chemicals factory and shoots in a straight line. the door falls down, and then Batmobile just gets that
I
clearance.
totally remember that.
Yeah.
Dude,
Do not lift it from there.
It is so, it just feels great. Yeah. These curves feel really lovely. And it is a meaty, this is a non-trivial set of pieces. It's a lot of plastic.
Yeah. A lot of plastic, a lot of metal, real metal axles on the inside as a frame.
I'm going to guess that one of the reasons for the thickness of the plastic is you get more reliable QC out of the surfaces, given that the surfaces are so important here.
Well, and I think that's an important point of discussion because, you know, as I'm looking at this, you know, paint finish is something that people are going to absolutely care about. And this is, I would call it a little bit of a fingerprint magnet. You're seeing dust already. Like people who have this, we're going to have it behind plexi.
Yeah.
But the real model also just as, you know, prone to scratching. There's a scene when they're being chased after the museum scene, and it's Vicky Vale and Batman, and they get out of the Batmobile, and Vicky Vale throws her like heels outside the car before she climbs out.
Yeah.
It's because the heels would have scratched the Batmobile. So that's why she's running without her shoes on. But the paneling, right? To get that compound curve, there's been some discussion about like the perfection of the surface here and what is known as like mold sink. So I'm noticing at a certain light, this is not perfectly flush.
Right.
You can see like a
there's
small
a tiny
little
bit, and that's two different parts.
And that's two different parts. And what's been explained is that to get this as basically one big piece and to have it be this complex of a compound curve, you need to have certain wall thicknesses, and it's a standard byproduct of, you know, how you get it out of the tooling, how you get it out of the mold.
This begins its life as little pellets of plastic that get melted into a hopper, shoved at incredibly high pressures into a giant steel set of tooling. And then as it cools, you have to do all this management of the plastic so it doesn't cool irregularly.
Exactly, right? And I would consider this, like looking at this, it's not something looking at it, it's a deal breaker or
Not
anything.
at all.
Like this important part, getting that right is way more important. And getting, like this surface is perfectly flush, right? These surfaces are perfectly flush.
No, those tiny variances absolutely exist on models in Hollywood and on the real things in Hollywood. It's like, there's only so much you can get in terms of quote unquote perfection.
And I kind of don't want it to look like a CAD model.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that the original was hand sculpted, you know, laid fiberglass, right? I love that it kind of feels like this was handmade.
Well, like Darth Vader's mask, man. If Darth Vader's mask is a perfect mirror, he does not look right. Yeah. And I'm sure when they got the LiDAR scan, they probably found parts of this car that are not bilaterally symmetrical, and they built that in.
Exactly. There's also this double-edged sword I want to address with, you know, how the fan community engages with something like this. Because like I said, this is a unique product in that Hot Toys has their version. It's more affordable, undoubtedly, right? Because they're a little bit more mass market. And Yost and his team going with, like, engaging with the community, posting behind the scenes photos. Being
very granular and letting the public know how the process was going, what was happening next, and asking for feedback at different stages.
That's a choice. That's a tough choice to make for a manufacturer.
Yeah.
Because then you open yourself to the kind of critical feedback that sometimes you have no control over.
Well, it's the thing we talk about prop making and movie memorabilia making in particular is you have the best and the most difficult audience to service because they know what they want exactly. They're the ones they have disposable income and they know precisely what they want. And it's very hard to please every single person's vision because they could all be different. You could be in love with one version of this car and I could be in love with a totally different from the same movie.
There's difference between what it looked like in real life and what it looked like under a camera lens with grading. Yeah. There's a difference between what's in my head as a kid watching this and what the paint finish is as they actually filmed it. These are all creative choices that have to be made, not only from a creative standpoint, but also from a practical manufacturing standpoint. And while I think the community is, for a large part, been really great about it, like that sense of ownership works both ways.
You can get a little bit of entitlement.
I mean, that's some of the word. And
that's one word.
Right. And I think there's shared ownership creatively, but at the end of the day, it is a product that, like, I would rather they open it up and have that dialogue than not have the dialogue.
I totally agree, and that being that transparent and that open with the fans, I think, is one of the recipes for success within manufacturing memorabilia like this.
Especially when people who are going to spend, $1,500
That's the
on
thing.
this, they want to buy it just the one time.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It's
They don't want to find out there's a better one.
No.
Yeah,
And I completely get that. When you want to spend the money, you want to feel like every point has been addressed now, because it's not, while nothing is perfect, like you're not going to go 10 years down the line and want to spend another $1,500 or whatever it is to get another Batmobile. This is you want it to be as definitive as possible. I think they achieved that.
Can I talk just about how magnificent it is to be in front of something this large?
I know.
I mean, all of these compound curves, plus its size and its mass, make it a really impressive object.
I keep on like.
Yeah, I know. I want to get down the camera.
That's the angle, right?
Like, it's right here.
It's right there. It's
really, really thrilling.
Yeah, and that's why the scales is one of my favorites, right?
It allows you a fidelity of experience
where every molded rivet or screw cover here counts. Every bit of line on the tire treads, all the switches that they've plugged into as separate molded pieces in the cockpit in the back there. Like, I now have a familiarity with this vehicle that I never had growing up. And I can appreciate it as an adult.
Can I tell you how beautiful the screens are inside the cockpit? Take a look. The lighting in there is really nicely done, especially on this screen here.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it could actually be like a screen.
I love that. And it's like all these little lights behind. The thing I love the most, it's how dirty this is.
Yes.
Like, how dirty that metal is how dirty the real thing is. It's not a polished piece. It both speaks to in the canon how Batman would have made this himself. He would have sent it to like a factory to be made. And also for the filmmaking process.
Well, and this is where that, this film breaks the fourth wall in the most wonderful way when Jack Nicholson says, where does he get those wonderful toys? It is exactly what the audience is thinking, and it's the right thing to be thinking. Batman is so much fun because of his toys, because of how he manufactures his own superhero-dom.
Also, in reality, this is a very small cockpit. It's like super, super small.
Oh, I know. It's big. I think the passenger could only fit Vicky Vale.
and it couldn't fit Batman's cowl. They had a shorter version of his ears.
No way!
For the closing canopy shot.
I want to see like 2 skid marks on the hood.
Right, from the foam latex, right? Which one's the one that actually got torn off? I will not put my $300 1/6 scale in there because of the cape and close it. Jazzinc is making a seated Batman that they're going to manufacture and sell and release next year that is perfectly fit for the Batmobile and the Batwing.
That is super cool.
Yeah. And that's an idea that came from the community.
Amazing.
Like, people don't want, while they might have bought this to pose with their Hot Toys Batman, right? To have a seated Batman here, it makes total sense to have something that looks like a filming miniature. Truly. Maquette.
It really looks like a filming miniature. It's remarkable, man. The scale is just...
I know.
Have you caught this view, by the way? No, from here. From here, looking down the back tire all the way towards the front. It's that is great.
Yeah, these racing tires, right? Establishing the canon of using these giant racing tires, which are different from front and back. Something that Nolan took to heart in Nathan Crowley's production design of the Tumbler.
It's so funny because I think of the Nolan Batmans as being such a specific sea change. And yet I see the DNA in his Batmobiles as well as in Matt Reeves' Batmobile in here. Mm-hmm. I feel there's sort of technological and constructive lineage to the design here, and that's really neat. I hadn't considered that.
It's just as important a character in the movie as the Batsuit, as the villain. It's such a defining characteristic of the Batman mythos, and they're animals. Like this feels like an organic creature.
It really does.
Oh.
Dude, it is so pretty. I know.
We're gonna go wipe off the fingerprints. We're
Oh,
gonna set up all the accessories.
Set
get
up all
some
the
beauty
accessories,
shots.
and I want it on a turntable, and I want it in a museum setting. I want to see it next to the Reeves Batmobile, right? Like they belong together.
We've got that in the shop. Yeah, we have quite a collection, Adam.
This is beautiful. It is yeah, I'm all here for the 6-scale vehicles, man. And I love that it included the turntable. And it actually
It does. It rotates.
turns.
It works as a display as well as a replica of the film prop.
Amazing.
All right.
I love supporting this kind of bespoke manufacturing.
Yeah.
This is a big swing they have taken, and they have achieved an amazing object out of that swing.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
the Jazzinc team. Thank you so much. And thank you all out there for watching. Enjoy the beauty shots.
Yeah.
Have so much fun photographing this.
Remove the fingerprints I'm putting on now.
Can you see my stress hives?
Yeah. See you guys next time. Beautiful.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you we have some excellent merch. We have a 5-pack of demerit badges for sale right now at tested/store.com. We've got the I hung it off of level demerit badge, the I built the chair backwards demerit badge, the I hit my thumb with a hammer demerit badge. We've got the stapler in my finger demerit badge, and my favorite, I stuck the duct tape to itself demerit badge. Get yours now, tested/store.store. Tested-store. Tested. It's right here. There. Just click there.